No, I want you to, hello. Congresswoman Waters, I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
Ma'am, we're lobbying securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public appeal.
I need to get in. Shoot some kid who's afraid of you and run? You're going to shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did. The governor was not contacted. This is Trump and his outrageous attempt to not only target our sanctuary city, but to frighten us and intimidate us. This is wrong, and I hope that none of you will use those guns to shoot anybody. There's no reason to shoot anybody. Don't allow them to make your service in a service where you're killing people. Don't do it. Defy them. Don't shoot those guns. For anything.
Thank you.
Are you going to shoot a protester because you don't like what they're saying? Why the guns? Why are these guns here? That's my question. I don't get why the guns have to be here. We're a sanctuary city. We know Trump doesn't like us. We know that he's going to try to use us as an example. He's going to try to goad us so that he has a martial law. He even alluded to civil war at one point in talking about this issue. We have a bunch of crazy, unreliable leadership in this country now. The president is in charge. He's in charge of all of the independent agencies. He's got the MAGA crowd around him, and they are saying some of the most outrageous and ridiculous things and trying to frighten and intimidate. And so I'm not surprised at what they're saying. They're crazy. They're outrageous. And people of America gotta know what's happening. Trump hates us. He hates sanctuary cities. He's gonna try and make an example out of us. No, I'm not surprised.
Let's get a bit more on the trade talks with economics professor and a regular on this show, Stephen Hamilton at George Washington University. I want to talk to you about trade, Trump and Musk, but let's start with this clash that we're seeing. These pictures coming in, I'm sure you've seen it there from your home in Washington, but the clashes in LA right now, Stephen Hamilton, what do you make of what you're seeing? It was a big part of the recent election, and it's a clash both in terms of those who are opposed to the immigration stance of Donald Trump, but also the tensions between Democratic Governor Newsom and the Republican White House.
Yeah, g'day, Kieran. Look, civil unrest is never a good sign, particularly when, frankly, US society is a bit of a tinderbox right now with all of the sort of sources of pressure, right, in all of these areas. And I will just point particularly, put the moral or ethical questions aside, I will point to the economic story that underpins this, which is something that not enough people are talking about, frankly. The economic impact of the proposed immigration restrictions, we still don't exactly know how this will go, but some of the economic impacts of those proposed immigration restrictions in the election have the potential to have a significantly worse impact on the US economy than the tariffs. And we know the tariffs are going to have a pretty big negative impact. So, I think this immigration question really does need more attention and more focus. If they end up deporting 10 million, workers, that'll be frankly devastating to the US economy.
As you rightly point out, a tinderbox, and we can see these, as I say, these are live pictures coming into us from downtown LA, near a federal building that houses an immigration centre. One of the members of Congress tried to enter that building just in the last little while. She was there with the demonstrators, but it just gives you a sense of when you're talking about the numbers the administration has been aiming to deport, it doesn't happen without some societal, or seismic shift in the society. Because as you know, as many of us who've travelled to the United States knows, that migrant story, and illegal migrants as well, have underpinned a big chunk of the economy there.
It's very difficult for Australians to understand this. As an Australian who lives in the US, in Australia, I think we've formed a consensus against really having a really no tolerance policy against any form of illegal immigration, right? We have we've had this for 20 years, Kieran, you remember as well as anyone does. This has been a continuous political source of sort of friction between the two parties, but we've come out with basically a consensus to get, against any kind of illegal immigration. In the US, it's completely the opposite. There is a sort of a permanent, acceptance, almost a welcoming of illegal immigrants to kind of work on farms, really to be a source of economic power for the US economy, right? Picking fruit in California, right? Filling factories, waiting tables, and these people escape, in many cases, a lot of the safety nets that, US citizens get. Now, you can say, okay, it would be a great idea to take the Australian model and fully outlaw all illegal immigration, but you have to front up to the practical difficulty of doing that, and this is the tip of the iceberg we're seeing in California, but two, the massive economic impact that would have on the US. And I suspect, as this thing starts to unravel, if they do start to clamp down very hard, it'll be another taco moment for Donald Trump, because the economic impact on, businesses and other workers will be pretty massive.